Okay, so how do you choose the right area for property investment? So with us, that was from Sally. So with us, when we was choosing our patch, there was a couple of factors that came into consideration. One was travel, so we wanted to make sure that we was fairly close to our portfolio in case we needed to go over, or when we was prospecting new properties, we could go and do multiple viewings in a day. We wasn't worrying about driving 2 hours to go and do some viewing. So our patch was pretty much where we lived across the Midlands. We had the furthest away was actually Coventry, which is about a 50-minute drive. So we kind of kept it all in a roughly similar area. But the main factors when you're considering your patch is who your end user is going to be, number one. So if you're going to do HMO, but you're going to go in do it, you only want professionals, but you've got HMO slap bang in a student area, but when you go and do your due diligence and your numbers, there's no one that's looking professional-wise in that area, then, already you've identified that that's not the right area for you. So demand's one. Employment rates are definitely one. If you're going to go down the professional side of things, you want to know how many people in your area are actually in employment, who your demographic is, and who you can potentially market the property to. Amenities, so what's around you. Is it going to be a good area for someone to come and relocate or to live? Is there opportunities? Is there hospitals? Is there schools? Loads and loads of different factors about amenities. Unemployment rate and crime rate is also a factor that you want to be looking out for. You definitely don't want to be acquiring a property in a ghetto and it's going to get smashed into a couple of times a month, because that's not going to be a good investment opportunity for you guys. So there's a lot of factors, but the main one that I'd say to you guys is, how far would you be willing to go and travel? Because if you live in London and you've got a property up in Newcastle, but you've got a guest that turns around and says, "Oh well, I'm missing a towel. The cleaner's not put one in, but the cleaner's gone on holiday." Are you really going to want to go and drive up from London to Newcastle to go and drop a towel off? Is the honest answer. So that was the main factors involved when we was choosing our area. But the one thing that I've not mentioned, which is the biggest, is demand. You need to understand your area's got that initial demand, because if it hasn't got a demand, you're not going to be able to get people in. If you're doing a HMO and there's no demand, you can't get people in your rooms. If you're doing service accommodation, but there's nothing to really come to the area for on a nightly basis, you're going to go get no demand. So there's loads of different ways that we can go about checking the demand to make sure that an area is right to invest into. We talk about this a lot on our training program in depth with our students to make sure that they really, really know how to identify if the patch is going to be worth investing in. Because if you go and invest in a bad patch, maybe you don't know how to go and look to see if an area is right investment, then you're going to lose the money. We've done it before. We invested in a bad area. We lost a lot of money. But it's these lessons that you take into consideration that are invaluable, rather than just writing it off as a loss, because that was a big lesson for us in regards to choosing that demand. So that's the kind of overboard and the factors that you want to consider when you're choosing your patch for you. But as I mentioned, if you want to really know how we can do this in depth, then you just have to reach out to Kyle and myself and we can kind of talk you through it.